Going on, everyone? As all good things eventually come to an end, so did the Warriors Dynasty. And now this offseason, the Warriors will likely have to get back to the drawing board, have to figure out how are they going to retool, restructure this team. But this Warriors team, as we know it, has officially come to an end. The dynasty that once was is no more. The mighty Warriors have fallen. And it's so great because you have a dog that predicted this, and you had all the people trolling and talking about the Warriors this and the Warriors that, and, they're just too good and just play their game and blah, 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 and all the, Charlie Brown murmurs, all of that. And the Lakers just continued to show up, continued to handle business. Even when they went up 3-1, people were still talking about how the Lakers aren't beating the Warriors are beating themselves. The Warriors are clearly the better team. You can't show me anything otherwise. Well, I guess you thought wrong, or I guess the better team is sitting at home right now, and one team is on their way to the Western Conference Finals. And I heard all of the talks about Warriors, man, they can't be beat. Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, they've never been beaten while they are healthy. 19-0 against, Western Conference teams. They can't be beat. They've won 28 straight series on the road, right? They are going to win in LA at least once. It's going to happen. And all of the talk and all of the nonsense and everything that we had to listen to and endure. And guess what? It was all for nothing. It was all for nothing because the Lakers handled business as they did. Let's just completely ignore that the Lakers this year, who cares about the past? The past is the past. What is happening now? The Warriors were a terrible road team all season. So the idea of them winning on the road is harder than you would think otherwise than in previous years. On top of that, the Lakers, number one defense, best team in the league in crunch time. They are built to beat this Warriors team, even though I heard all the talks about how they weren't. And guess what? The Lakers ended up winning. And look, give the Warriors credit. I'm trolling a bit. I'm, talking my stuff. But look, the Warriors had an incredible run, an incredible reign. Steph Curry will likely still be a part of this team. They have a lot of question marks with Draymond Green, a lot of question marks with Klay Thompson. Klay wants to be paid. Draymond's going to want to be paid after he opts in. They're going to have to change and remold this roster. And they had a good run. But again, like I said, the Celtics dynasty, the Bulls dynasty, the Spurs dynasty, Lakers dynasties, all of those eventually come to an end. And it's just beautiful that it was the Lakers. It's just beautiful that it was LeBron James and that they were able to shut this down and put an end to it. But again, give the Warriors credit. This could very well be our toughest series. And for the Lakers to be able to handle business in 6 games it was beautiful. It was masterful. But the Lakers were just a better team this year. They really were. It was blatant. It was obvious. It showed. All the numbers backed it up. Everything. The Lakers play their game. They win this series. And the Warriors just didn't have enough. One team this entire series was getting and having to make incredible shots in order to just stay competitive, while the other team was basically getting whatever they wanted on the offensive end. Even Game 5, you saw the Warriors were shooting the lights out. Literally shooting the lights out. And the Lakers were tied and then eventually took the lead and then just failed to close out the half, or who knows what would have happened that game. The Warriors had to shoot and do absolute heroics. And the Lakers, they just had an easier go. And they were too overwhelming for the Warriors. That's why they won the way that they did. And people are going to make up excuses such as the free throw disparity. It's the goofiest, just casual, low IQ, have no understanding or grasp of the game I have ever heard. It's just, those are Warrior fans that have nothing left to grasp and nothing left to hold on to. So just let them have it. All of those people will be, crawling back. All the Warrior fans the last 10 years will all be crawling back into their caves to go get their Laker gear and come back out, and all of a sudden they'll be Laker fans, because that's what happened with all the Warrior fans, right? Nobody was talking about the Warriors 10 years ago. I'd never met a fan a day in my life 10 years ago, and then all of a sudden it was like everyone was a Warrior fan. It's just how it goes. You have the casuals. They're going to try to tell you like, oh, if the Lakers had free throws this whole series, if the free throw disparity wasn't so big, then we would have won, and blah, blah, blah. One team shot 50% of their attempts, or damn near 50% of their attempts per game from three, while another team shot 70 to 75% of their attempts all series at the rim. That's the difference. That's the disparity. Right then and there. One team is physical and aggressive and gets to the basket. The other team likes to shoot and jack up a bunch of threes. They've had that disparity their entire run, because they shoot a bunch of threes. What they do, they're able to get into the basket and score in other ways, but that's what they're known for, is being that. And this team, the Warriors, just don't have that talent, that depth that they once had. The star, like Klay Thompson isn't who he once was. Draymond Green in a lot of ways isn't who he once was. You know, Andrew Wiggins was great and arguably their second best player last year during their championship run. He was kind of a non-factor outside of like spots here and there this whole playoff run. Jordan Poole, I think they end up trading Jordan Poole. He might as well not even have been on the team this year. It just was the end. The writing was on the wall from the beginning. The Warriors had a terrible season in terms of like Warriors standard. And, you know, a lot of it, yes, maybe it was injuries. Maybe it was just the championship hangover. But whatever it was, it came to an end. And LeBron James did it. LeBron James knew what was at stake this series. And him and the Lakers handled business. And during this whole process, all we've heard is the Lakers are this, the Lakers are that, the Warriors are this, the Warriors are that. You know, hey, this Warriors team isn't the Memphis Grizzlies. You're right, they're not the Memphis Grizzlies. But the Lakers aren't the Sacramento Kings either, right? Like, the Lakers ran through the Warriors, right? I mean, they did. They established and pretty much controlled all of Game 1. They got blown out in Game 2, as you would expect. Lakers responded by beating them even worse in Game 3, closed them out in Game 4, arguably could have won Game 5 if they just showed up with some intensity and composure and locked down defensively, but their defense was non-existent. They were scoring, they were in it, they had opportunities, they just never could string together multiple stops. But again, give the Warriors credit. They were one of the best teams in the league this year at home. That's the only reason they were even in the playoffs, because they were one of the worst teams in the league on the road. Look, LeBron James and Anthony Davis are still unbeaten when healthy. That was Draymond Green's thing last year, right? Draymond Green, all the talk, hey, nobody's ever beaten us when we're fully healthy. You know, it took me getting suspended. It took, our entire team falling apart, this, that, and the other. And I said before this started, you can make the exact same argument about LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They won the NBA championship the first year they were together. They ended up going to the playoffs again. We're up 3 games, or up 2 games to 1. Looked like they were about to go up 3-2 or 3-1. And Anthony Davis ends up getting hurt. And that was it. That was all she wrote. They were never able to get back into it, right? Because if the Lakers and Anthony Davis were healthy, they would have eliminated the Phoenix Suns. They would have went to the Western Conference Finals. They would have won the Western Conference Finals. They would have went to the NBA championship, and they matched up much better than Milwaukee. And they probably would have went back-to-back that year. And unfortunately, Anthony Davis went down. He hasn't been able to get right the last few years. We get to this, and boom, here we are. And LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they're not healthy. LeBron has to have surgery in the offseason, so any injury excuse, like the whole Wiggins and stuff that people are going to try to make excuses for, LeBron said himself he has to have surgery in the offseason. So nobody's going to talk about that, though, right? Anthony Davis still is dealing with his foot injury and might have a concussion, right? And nobody's going to talk about that. right? Like D'Lo is managing a foot injury that he said before the playoffs even started that he was going to have to manage throughout the entire playoffs. That's why he missed so many games. Everybody's dealing with injuries right now. It's the playoffs. One team handled business. One team got it done. One team was clearly the better team throughout this entire process. And I saw so many people try to say, well, it could have easily been, 2-2, or it easily could have been 3-1 the Warriors. Yeah, and, okay, so the Lakers, if they showed up in game 2, they would have won 4-0. And it would have been a sweep. So if we're making up fairy tales and hypotheticals, okay, well, here, I'll make one up too. If the Lakers played like they did in game 1 and showed up, they would have swept the Warriors. If we want to make stuff up, the Warriors didn't stand a chance in game 3. The only argument you could have is maybe game 4, but that's called being the better team. The better team executed down the stretch. The better team won the game when it mattered. That's what being the better team is. The better team closed, executed, and found a way. Whether it was Lonnie Walker, whether it was whoever. He's on the team, right? It wasn't like one of the Warriors players started shooting for the Lakers. People try to act and just make up all these like fairy tales that it's like, well, if they were... Stop. Just stop. It's so... You're reaching here. Keep reaching. You reach far enough, your arm's going to fall off. The Lakers were the better team. Just like I said, they were against Memphis. It's why I picked the Lakers to win in 6 originally. I had some hope that they would win in Game 5, tried to speak it into existence. They didn't. But my original prediction was this series would go exactly like the Grizzlies series. And this series did. You can make an argument that this series was easier than the Grizzlies series. The Lakers didn't have to go into overtime. The Lakers didn't get beat by 40 or 30 or whatever it was in game 5. Lakers had a chance to win that game. Like this series, you can make an argument it was easier for the Lakers than the Grizzlies series was. And now the Lakers are going to go play the Denver Nuggets, and they're probably going to beat Denver in, 6 games as well. And people are going to make up excuses, and they're going to find this, that, and the other. And guess what? The Lakers are just going to keep winning. And then they'll make the NBA Finals. And then when they make the NBA Finals and they win the championship, we'll hear all the excuses about how there's this asterisk and that asterisk. And guess what? The Lakers won. Make up any excuses, any whatever you need to make up. Lakers won. The Warriors Dynasty is over. You tip your hat to Klay Thompson, tip your hat to Steph Curry, tip your hat to Draymond Green. This run that they have been able to do was unprecedented. It was historic. Absolutely unbelievable. As a basketball fan, yes, I am a Laker fan, but I'm also a basketball fan. As a basketball fan, what they were able to do was so joyous and fun to watch. It really was. Because, for most of this run, the Lakers were not even in the discussion, right? And I know some people look at the Warriors and, it's boring, the same team's winning every year. That level of dominance is so hard to maintain year after year after year after year. And yes, they got Kevin Durant. Yes, they kind of, in many ways, it kind of felt like they cheated the system. But they did their job, right? Like, if the Lakers would have went and got Kevin Durant, let's say when, Kobe was in his prime or whatever. Like, we were all upset about Chris Paul, right? That's probably a better comparison at the time. Like, if we would have gotten Chris Paul, and then there were even talks about them getting Dwight Howard, and it fell apart, and we were all upset. But we would have all been cheering, and everyone would have been saying it's unfair that the Lakers got Dwight Howard and Chris Paul to pair with Kobe Bryant, right? Like, it's part of the game. The Warriors were able to make it happen. That's the Warriors' job, to get better every year, to put the best talent around each other that they can. And that team was ridiculous. That team was literally, it took the entire roster falling apart to finally be beaten. So you just tip your cap to it. You appreciate the greatness. You appreciate the level of just play. You appreciate the history that you got to experience and watch. Because who knows when the next time a run like that might happen. We might never see a run like that. You might get a team that wins, 2 championships in 4 or 5 years, but that's not a dynasty. That's not a team that's like, for like a 10-year stretch, they're in the NBA Finals every other year pretty much. That's not the same thing, right? So you appreciate what you got to experience, what you got to witness. Appreciate LeBron James and what he was able to do during this stretch. I mean, look, if it wasn't for the Warriors dynasty, LeBron would probably have 8 rings. Like, literally. I mean, that Warriors, like, if it wasn't for the Warriors team, and I guess maybe he would have had that one loss where Kevin Love and Kyrie just completely fell apart. So, okay, outside of that one, but if they never got Kevin Durant, LeBron probably wins the next several years after that. I mean, Kevin Durant was like the equalizer for that team and literally made the Warriors unbeatable. And they were during that stretch. But now, Lakers are going to go. They're going to handle business. They get a little rest. Job's not finished. 8 more wins. And the Lakers are the NBA champions. It's a beautiful thing. Gotta love it. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What'd you think? What did you think of the Warriors' run? What do you think of the Lakers ending it? Again, I'm stoked. I'm happy. I'm happy as happy can be. This has been remarkable. What a way to end the Warriors dynasty, and the Lakers starting from 2-10 to eliminating the defending champions, ending a dynasty, doing what many people thought was impossible, and here you go. Lakers did it. LeBron James, the dynasty killer. And gotta love it. Like I said, I absolutely love it. And don't worry, we're going to have a lot of talk about. Get ready for a bunch of videos between now and the Denver series, because there's a lot that I want to hit on. But let's celebrate, take this moment in, and let's get ready for Denver for the Western Conference Finals.